I feel like over the past couple weeks, a lot of my videos have been focusing on level completions and verifications, and while that is still really interesting news, and I really do want to cover those things, I do want to, cover the entirety of the geometry spectrum and not just that. So that's what I plan to do here. This video is going to be two segments. The first half, I'm going to be talking about a recent level that got showcased by Rico LP that he hosted called Apollyon. And then the second half is going to be on a new top 15 platformer verification. I know that technically is a verification, but it's a platformer level, so not as many people see it, so I want to cover it. So yeah, first up, Rico LP has hosted a top 10 level, and it recently got showcased 6 hours ago. Now, a lot of you probably recognize the name Rico LP. I recognize him for the verifier of Promethean and, more importantly, Blighted Justice, but he's done a lot of things in the community overall. And he was the original host of a lot of levels that you might know, like Zodiac and Flamewall, so he's had a pretty big impact in the community, and so it's really cool that we're seeing him get back into hosting levels with Apollyon. Now, the reason that Apollyon is so impressive to me is that this level is over 13 minutes in length. Now, I've talked about really long levels in the past, and I've highlighted major importance that, wow, these levels are super long. They're like 6 minutes or 7 minutes. So the fact that this one blows those out of the water at 13 minutes is crazy. Even Cyberraptor, which I've talked about a couple times, that's mad impressive, is only 11 minutes long, and I say only. So a level that is 13 minutes in length not only will need massive dedication to beat it, which I believe Rico LP is verifying this himself, but also just being able to have this thing finish. Like, having a project that's this long and having this many creators is gonna take a while. What's even more impressive is that this had nearly 150 creators and took only 230 days to make. I am currently hosting a level that is nowhere near the scope of this level, and it is estimated to probably take a lot longer than that, so the fact that he was able to get all of this done in that short a time is crazy, and the layout was made like instantly pretty much. This is such an impressive thing, to have this many people actually care and do their job at a normal time and not like be late or quit the project is actually amazing. There's also a lot of very influential people that have a part in this. I think that is quite a common thing you see with a lot of these longer levels. You see a lot of really important figures have a part in them. You can see on screen now, Nickname a Top Player is a part of this, but there's many other, not just creators, but players you may know, like Zeus, Gokill, Laser, H-Storm, Z-Levi, Skizzle, Quattrocientos, Terra, Bolsep, Hyperbola. There's so many, and that's just a few of them. Now, overall, I don't know if this level has much of a theme, or if it has, like, a certain style that it wants to go for. In the description, it said that this level was made on a whim. It's one of those levels that's very inoffensive. Like, there isn't any part here that looks spectacular, but there's also not a single bad part in this level. I will say it doesn't really have any parts that like actually seem very outstanding to me. Like, if I was to watch this a couple times, there'd be very few parts that I could point out in my memory, but that doesn't mean there isn't any of those parts, and overall the level does hold a very consistent quality. It's very flashy in a lot of parts, and it knows when to tone it down and to pick it back up. And the song is a pretty nice choice. I don't have much to say on it. But yeah, I don't have much to say about this level. I think that we should give Rico good luck in trying to verify. It is going to end up being probably a top 10. With this length and this difficulty, yeah, I could totally see this being above like every end in difficulty, but we'll have to wait to see how hard this would actually be, because with levels this long it is really hard to tell. I feel like once you go over the 8-minute mark, gathering an estimate for the difficulty of a level becomes really abstract and hard to actually come up with. So yeah, but anyways, this is a really cool level. Send supports for this being actually verified, and yeah. Also, I would like to point out, there is blurred names here, but if you go to the description of the video, it explains why there's these blurred images. It was just the wrong name was put. Now, moving on to the platformer side, there was a couple other levels that I would want to talk about in this video that are being made. However, I kind of covered those ones I found important in my last weekly recap video, so we're just going to move on to a platformer thing that I want to point out, and that is the level The Answer Is by Silence DTM. It recently got verified by Gabest, and it is a ship, or I guess jetpack only top 15. And it wasn't only just made by Silence, it's also made by a couple other people over here, and it was playtested by a couple well-known platformer players. And yeah, I find this level super cool, because one, it is only jetpack in it, it doesn't try anything else, which it kind of gives it its own personality, right? It gives it its own thing. But also, it has a very interesting concept with what it does with that. So, your goal in this level is to collect an item, or I don't know what you would actually call it, whatever it's called in the game files, but it's like a collectible. And once you collect it, you have to go back the way. You have to go all the way back to the beginning of the level to beat it. So you'll see it soon here. You go across the entire level, it goes slightly up, and it's got really cool colors, by the way. I love the decoration style here. I'm just gonna fast forward the video here. As you can see, he collected it, and now it says go back over here, and you just have to re-go back, and the level totally shifts in tone. It's a lot more darker. There is still pulses of color, which I like. It's not entirely black, which I hate when levels do that. But it does immediately switch up in style, and the song also has this as well. It switches to a very less upbeat tone. It does go back in the end, but for the start of it. Another thing that I find really interesting is that this level is an obvious kind of parody of Find the Answer, which is a level by Kelly, and you can tell it uses the exact same song. It has the similar rainbowish style decoration, and just like The Answer Is, this level has a kind of mix of these really dark themes and these really rainbow themes that are contrasting that just pair really well together. Obviously, in this level, they're kind of mixed in a lot of the times, while in the platformer level, it is kind of very distinct separate parts. But I think it does a great job. It's also a nice wordplay. I feel like it's not just adding, a number at the end, like, oh, this is funny, thinking space free, or, like, it's its own joke. Now, this is Gabest's second hardest, which is honestly mad impressive, because Gabest beat his hardest level, like, 2 months ago, which was debatably top 1 when it got verified. Obviously, opinions happened and ended up being top 5, but that is still impressive to beat your hardest, and then, like, 60 days later, not even beat another, like, second hardest. That is mad impressive. But that's really all I have to say on this level, and that is the end of today's video. Go show both people mentioned support. They'll be linked in the description of this video. And I just hope that this puts more eyes on Rico again, and also that it puts more eyes on the platforming community. Again, I want to highlight it a lot because I feel like a lot of news channels don't. So here we go. It's a cool level, but not much more to say here. Thanks for watching, and peace.